What if everything you once believed about yourself was just a story? A story you told yourself over and over again. So often it felt real. And what if right now you had the power to rewrite that story in a way that serves you? Because the truth is, there are people who love without limits. People who see beyond the surface. Who connect beyond status, beyond titles, beyond numbers in a bank account, beyond achievements on paper. And if that's true, if love, admiration and desire transcend all these labels, then why would you ever believe that you have to qualify for it? Because what is enough anyway? Who decided what was worthy and what was not? And isn't it fascinating how the people you admire, the ones who seem so put together, so successful, so magnetic, they also have doubts, insecurities, flaws. And if even the best people are imperfect, then what does that say about the standards you thought you had to meet? Maybe those standards were just illusions. Maybe worthiness was never about meeting them. Maybe worthiness was always yours, just waiting for you to claim it. And did you feel that truth sinking in? Something else begins to shift. Because you start to realize that every limiting belief, every rule, every story you once told yourself, it was just an attempt to protect you. But protection can turn into a prison. When you let go of these outdated rules, you don't become lost, you become free. Free to express yourself without fear. Free to pursue your desires without doubt. Free to connect, to feel, to be, fully, unapologetically, powerfully. Because people, they don't remember your words. They remember energy. They remember the way you make them feel. And when you stand in your power, when you radiate confidence, when you embrace who you truly are, people feel that. They're drawn to it. So imagine living from that truth. Imagine stepping forward without hesitation, without fear, knowing deep in your core that you're already enough. You always have been. That the world is yours to claim. Love is yours to receive. And you're free to expect the best because you are the best. Now as you let these words settle deep within, notice what shifts. Notice what expands. Because the change has already begun. And from this moment forward, everything is different. Because you're different. And isn't that a beautiful thing? Because what if everything you once believed about yourself was just a story? A story so convincing, so deeply embedded, it felt like truth. And yet what happens when you realize that truth itself is fluid? The reality is nothing more than perception. That perception can be changed. Because look around. There are powerful, magnetic, desirable people who are loved. Not because they're perfect, but because they're present. Not because they checked off some imaginary list of worthiness, but because they exist, boldly, unapologetically. So what does that mean for you? What if all the reasons you ever thought you weren't enough, they were nothing more than illusions? Stories told to you, stories you told yourself. And what if in this moment you decided to let them go? Because the truth is, love has never been about qualifications. Connection has never been about achievement. Attraction has never been about worthiness. And if that's true, if people love without logic, if they admire without a checklist, if they crave connection beyond the labels, then why would you ever place conditions on yourself? Why would you ever think you had to earn what's already yours? Because the mind loves patterns, doesn't it? And for so long, your mind followed patterns that weren't yours. Rules imposed, limits adopted. The belief that you had to fit into something, to be someone, to prove something. But rules can be rewritten. Limits can be dissolved. Beliefs can be replaced. And now's the time to do exactly that. Because every time you imposed a rule on yourself, I must be smarter, I must be richer, I must be more successful, I must be more. You weren't protecting yourself. You're imprisoning yourself, holding yourself back from the truth that was always there. That you're enough. That you've always been enough. that the only thing left to do is own it. Because people, they don't remember words. They remember energy. They remember how you make them feel. When you step into your truth, when you stand in your power, speak from your soul, embrace yourself without hesitation. People feel that. They're drawn to it. They're moved by it. They want more of it. So imagine what happens when you let go of the illusion that you need to be anything other than who you are. Imagine what happens when you stop trying to control, suppress, shut down, and instead just open up. Open up to your desires. Open up to your truth. Open up to the understanding that the very thing you once thought held you back wasn't barriers. They were only illusions. And now, those illusions dissolve. They fall away effortlessly, naturally, and you're free. Free to speak, free to express, free to feel, free to take up space, free to pursue whatever and whoever you desire, without hesitation, without doubt, because you're limitless. And now you remember. And that changes everything, doesn't it?